you guys doing today?
Good.
Very
How
good.
are
How are
you?
you?
I am doing fine. I was wondering if this interview was going to happen, but here we are.
Woo.
It's happening.
Excellent. Well, this was one of the best films I've seen all year, and it's so great to talk to a family who's playing a family in the film. This is amazing. So my first question to you is, how did you all come to star in the film together, and what was your initial thought of acting with each other in the film?
Well, we all came to it sort of at different stages. Kelly, who wrote the script during the pandemic, wrote it with me in mind, unbeknownst to me. And after the first table read, I asked to audition for the role, and she said, "I wrote it for you, so you don't have to audition." And I was happy to hear that. And
Awesome.
then there were a few more table reads, and Katherine was involved in one of them, and Kelly and Alex really enjoyed hearing it with her in mind. So she came on board, and then Tara came on last. Kelly knew her work from the theater in Chicago, and Alex looked at her reel and really liked her work on that. And they asked her to be the wife.
It was really close to when they were starting to film. It was only 2 weeks before they started. We also, I think it's important to say, Keith, they had been working on the film, and then they had put it on a back burner, and they were going to be doing another film, and then the strike happened. And so they returned to doing Ghostlight because it was a much smaller film, and they knew they were going to be able to get the waiver from SAG more easily. And they brought in a very dear friend of ours in the Chicago community as a casting director. And Keith was going to be involved with it from the get-go. She wrote it for Keith. But when our friend Mickey Pascal, who cast it, read it, said to Kelly and Alex, "Oh, you wrote a film for Keith and also for Katherine and Tara. You just don't realize that you wrote it for them." So she was advocating for us all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as working on it as a family, I think it was a unique experience, something we never did before. Tara and I have worked together, and Katherine and I worked together when she was 6, but we'd never done anything as a family together.
Yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful. We have a shorthand. We all know each other really well. We
Get along.
We have fun. Yeah.
And that's what Alex and Kelly were looking for. There would be moments when the cameras weren't rolling and we'd be talking or getting into a little bit of an argument, and they would say, yeah, let's keep that. Let's do that again. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad to hear it. Katherine, I'm going to ask you a question now because you were a firecracker as Daisy. And I know when I was a young person that parents can be your backup directors for you. How did it change or evolve when they were your now co-stars instead of your directors?
It was just more directing since they were near me all the time. But
You never let that go.
I think that it was definitely helpful to have them both on set with me, because if I didn't understand something or correction or a note that I was given, I could, they were really close by, so I could just go over and ask for their assistance. And also, obviously, I think it was nice having them as my parents because I felt a lot more comfortable, and which led me to be a lot more natural on camera.
Absolutely. It definitely showed in the film. Now, Tara, I love your character's name, Sharon, because it's actually my mother's name. Yes, indeed. And you were really holding a family together, and you were holding yourself together. Can you talk about approaching a character like that and the relief of finally getting into that role?
Yeah, well, it was easy because I hold my family together. So,
Excellent.
I bet your mom would say this too, that is often the role of the mom in the family is to keep everybody going. And I'm certainly, that's not always the case, but I think it's often the case, is that you are the person who is keeping things together and making sure everybody has what they need and moving things forward. And certainly my role living with these two clowns is to make sure everybody is clothed and has food
I
and
can
knows,
clothe
not really, he can't really do
I
much.
can.
I would say, like, what would happen if I wasn't around? And Keith's like, well, I don't know. She wouldn't make it to school. I don't know what would happen. You know, so, and I mean, certainly in my life, thank God, I have not been struck with the kind of difficult circumstances Sharon has been hit with in the film. And there isn't a lot of space for Sharon in the film to put that. But I think through the beauty of theater, she finds the space, you know, by witnessing Romeo and Juliet and getting to witness her family in that play. She finds the space to release. So, you know,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It is indeed. And Keith, I felt like you had a lot to do in this film. You had a wide range of emotions. As Dan, you never know if he was going to be calm or he's going to explode. Can you talk about navigating that line? And did you ever surprise yourself with the rage that he had to go through?
Well, the thing about the film, making a film, is you have a one scene at a time, one shooting day at a time. So you would prepare yourself for whatever was necessary for that day. The structure of it is Alex and Kelly and how they pace it, how they shoot it, how they edit it. So I didn't really worry about that because you can't worry about that. The rage is unsurprising to me because
It's right there
yeah,
at all times.
like, just below the surface, so it's easy to tap into. So I think I surprised some people
Everybody else
in the audience. I was sitting in front of two people who, when I exploded the very first time, were very, they went, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I mean, you scared me a few times. I was just watching the film. My goodness. Now, this is a question to all three of you. Was there a particular moment of the film between you and you feel so noticeable in the movie where you talk to each other, but it felt like it was real life, not just your characters? And I'm going to start with you, Tara.
there's a lot of places where it just felt like us. That, I mean, there was,
Like when you smashed me.
oh yeah, I'll tell you my favorite moment on the film. My favorite moment on the film was when I got to run out of the house and run across the lawn and slam into his chest when I think he's cheating on me.
Right.
Not that it felt like our real life, it just was my favorite moment in the film. It was like,
You got to release.
I got to release some stuff. And the first time I did it in the rehearsal, he was like, you're hitting me a little too hard. I'm like, I'm hitting you just right, baby. I'm hitting you just right. And Alex and Kelly were like, we like it, keep it. So that was a good moment. But no, there were so many moments. There was a moment when we were all, she's laying on the floor watching TV and I'm sitting working and he's sitting holding the channel changer that really was just right out of an evening in our living room. And we had lines to say, but literally they could have been
anything.
It really could have been a slice right out of our life. So yeah.
What about you?
Absolutely.
I think there's a part when I'm talking to my dad, I'm like, well, you know, you either just blow up or like,
oh yeah,
exactly.
You got a bad rap here.
That I could see. And of course, you know, I'm yelling at him as I'm saying this, and I feel like that's true too, because
Tell you.
I do a lot of yelling too.
Absolutely. How about you, Keith?
I think I think one of my favorite scenes is when we're in the truck, Daisy and I, after our first therapy session, and she's putting on my work equipment, and she says, I drew a picture for you. And she shows this kid with a bloody, I really want to laugh so hard. But, and it's something that she would have done. And I give a little smile. I thought, yeah, that's my kid. That's what she did.
Absolutely.
The
Well,
batting too, right? The batting cages when they're in the
Yeah,
batting
batting
cages.
cages.
yes,
Feels very Keith
A
and
lot of it,
Catherine.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, you three, this was a great film, and I'm so glad you held it together as a family in real life and as well as a film. And come June 14th, I have a feeling Ghostlight is going to be one of the sleeper hits or one of the best summer hits for this year.
Oh.
Thank you
I hope
all
Thank
so,
you
man.
so
Thank you very
much.
much.
So
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you.
day.
You too. Have a great day.